Some of y'all really aren't non confrontational. You've just been letting people tap dance on your nerves because you're scared saying, hey, boo, don't do that. Might start World War III. And it's wild because we tell our children to stand up to their bullies or the bullying never stops. But somehow, when we grow up, we forget that that rule applies to adults too. The reality is that people can sense hesitation the same way that dogs can sniff out fear. If they notice you won't speak up for yourself, they'll test you just to see how far they can go. But the gag is the minute that you say something back, even something soft, calm, simple, the behavior magically stops. Adults don't stop pushing boundaries because they suddenly develop morals. They stop because you finally opened your mouth. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Everything is Onions, where we peel back the onions of life one layer at a time. Deep conversations, raw truths, no tears. Well, mostly. I'm your new favorite host, Coco. Thank you to all my returning listeners. You know I love y'all down. And if you're new here, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe so you never miss a single layer we peel back. Today, we're peeling back the layers of being confrontational. Not aggressive, not unhinged, not WWE SmackDown. Just finally speaking up for yourself. So let's get into the first peel. I genuinely think people underestimate how much their life would change if they just said one clear, calm sentence. I didn't like that. Not screamed it, not threw a temper tantrum, not wrote a 4-page letter, just said the words out loud. Because here's the thing, most people are not bold. They're just used to you staying quiet. They're not confident. They've just learned you won't check them. And your silence has turned into a permission slip for them to disrespect you. Think about how parents tell their children, you have to stand up for yourself or you're going to keep getting bullied. That advice does not expire. We just stopped applying it once we got grown and started clocking into jobs, friendships, relationships. All these adult spaces filled with people who absolutely know when you're too timid to push back, when you're too timid to say something. Let's be real. Some people make you uncomfortable on purpose just to see if you'll say something. They'll throw out a shady comment. They'll invade your space. They'll test your patience and boundaries, all because they can sense that you're afraid of making a scene. And the funny part is, nobody tells you confrontational people don't really enjoy conflict. They just enjoy the peace of mind. They understand that saying something small now saves you from dealing with something bigger later. Speaking up is maintenance. It's hygiene, if you will. It's like washing your hands before the germs spread. And contrary to popular belief, I wasn't always like this. I was not always how do you say confrontational. I used to be very passive. I barely spoke up for myself in my younger years. But now, babes, I will not hesitate to make anyone uncomfortable, if not more than they tried to make me. Because something that adulthood has taught me, and it's something that I wish I knew when I was younger, is that everybody knows exactly what they're doing. They know how they're treating you. We're grown. And I'm not letting anybody pretend that they don't know that they're being shady, that they don't know that they're being disrespectful, that they don't know that what they're doing or saying is bothering me. Cause bitch, you know. And now I'm about to give you what you gave me times 10. Hope you can handle it. With that being said, let's peel into the messy middle. So this topic actually makes me think about the moment that put the battery in my back, the moment that I learned to be confrontational and stand up for myself. So a little story time. Picture me, freshman year of college, doing the best that I can with the resources that God, FAFSA, and the cafeteria have gave me. Something was going on in my car this day. I don't remember what, but I had to get to work. I was a nanny and I had 2 kids to pick up and let into the house on the other side of town. There was a friend of a friend that was at our house at the time. Don't know why, but she was at our house and I went to ask her, could I borrow her car so I could go to work? And before I even get in the car, she was like, "Oh, you got to make sure that you turn it over a few times. You got to try it before it starts." And again, I grew up with a daddy that did everything on my car, so I'm like, "Okay, whatever." Completely brush it off. This probably was my first interaction with like batteries or like some car shit after my dad had died. So I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't know what was going on. I was gonna go to wherever my daddy told me or my mama told me to go to get my car fixed. Anyway, now that I'm older, I realize, girl, sister, the battery was dead. The battery was cooked. All right. That battery was checked out, boo. As soon as I got in the car, click, 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 it's trying to turn over. I had to try to start the car 4 or 5 times before it even started. Whatever. It finally starts, and I had to work, pick the kids up, drop them off, do what I'm supposed to do. Everything is good. So I'm done with my shift and I go out to the car. I try to start the car again. Nothing. Now the car does not start at all. It doesn't turn over, doesn't click, doesn't buzz. No lights come on in the car. The battery is dead. So I go back in the house and I ask the dad, could he come outside and jump the car? So he does, jumps the car, it starts, boom. I take that little bit of spark and a spark of life and I drive back to campus, get a girl her keys. Everything is good. So I think. The next day, I am in a session with my friends. I will never forget this. And she calls me talking crazy as hell. Okay. She called me like, yeah, so you owe me a battery. Again, I don't know shit about cars. So I called my mom. I explained everything to my mom. And immediately, my mom was like, girl, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You do not kill a battery in a 25-minute drive, boo. Like, especially if you're telling me that the car was already trying to turn over, it wouldn't even start initially. The battery was cooked before you got in it, boo. Tell that girl you're not paying for shit. So I know my mom know what she's talking about. I go along with it. I turn around and I tell that girl, well, mom said, no, it's a no, that I didn't do that to your car. I didn't do anything. I just drove your battery was already dead. So again, like I said, the girl was still at my house. I lived on like a room on campus where we had multiple rooms in one house. So it could be hella people in the house for other people, not just me. And she was there in my other friend's room. And I remember going in that room and I was very calm. I was very, together. I was zooted, but I will never forget telling that girl, like, yeah, mom said I'm not paying for that battery. And do you know this bitch picked her hand up and mushed me right in my forehead. It is safe to say that I blacked out and whooped her ass. I whooped her motherfucking ass. There are two subscribers, two followers of mine for sure that I know that were there and remember this exact moment. They remember this whole thing going down. She didn't slap me, she didn't push me, she didn't punch me, she mushed. And I don't know why that set me off, but it did. Okay? It did. And I whipped her motherfucking ass. And I remember coming back to consciousness like, what the hell? Like, what is going on here? Oh my God. Was I just in a fight? But it's funny because that moment lit something in me. And not because of the fight, but it was the first time in my adult life that I didn't fold. Like, I didn't shrink. I didn't apologize for something that I didn't do. I didn't try to smooth things over and make the peace. I said, no. And she tested the fuck out of me. She tried me. And my reflexes handled the rest. She got exactly what she was looking for. I don't think that she was looking for that, but she definitely got what the hell she was looking for. And only later did I realize me blacking out was a trauma response, that I have PTSD. But the bigger lesson in this was that she didn't mush me because she was bold. She mushed me because she assumed I wouldn't react. She thought she was finna hold me. And that's what happens when you don't speak up for yourself. People start believing whatever the fuck they want about you. They start believing that they can treat you, talk to you, do anything to you, and you're going to let it slide. And here's where the psychology comes in. Most adults weren't raised to communicate properly. We were raised to cooperate. When you are growing up, you're a child, you hear, be polite, be nice, don't talk back, don't be mean, don't cause a scene. And we become adults who whisper our discomfort like it's fucking illegal, like it's taboo. People pleasing, that's not a personality trait. It's just old training. It's your brain choosing familiar frustration over the discomfort of honesty. But avoiding confrontation does not prevent tension, it just delays it. All those little annoyances do not evaporate. They pile up like the laundry on a chair that you swear you're going to wash and fold tomorrow. You start having tight smiles. You have silent exhales. You need to go to a bathroom break to regroup, all because you didn't want to say one straightforward sentence. You didn't want to tell somebody no. You didn't want to call somebody out for saying something crazy to you, for being shady. And let's talk about people in general for a second, because folks definitely love to push the limits. Sometimes it is unintentional. I will say that. But sometimes it is strategic. There absolutely are people who pay attention to who never speaks up. They take notes. They test you. They try your gangsta. They try the fuck out of you. And once they realize you're going to keep letting them slide, slippy slide, you're cooked. They treat you like a sitting duck, someone they can bother because they don't expect a reaction out of you. They know you're not going to do anything. And let me tie this back into something that I said in a previous episode, that whole idea about different chessboards of life. You remember that one? If you haven't, go back and watch it. But everybody is standing on a different chessboard, different rules, different dangers, different pressures, different people, different environments. And most bullies, they're only bold on the boards where they're not getting checked. Hence the reason why they come on your board when they're in spaces around you and bully you and disrespect you. A lot of people are talking crazy in one space and are getting their head knocked between the washer and dryer in another. In a completely different room, they're the target there. They're the gazelle. They're the prey that is running from the lion. In certain spaces, you have to think about this. This is why you see, if you know certain people and you see how they maneuver in different rooms, and you see why they're argumentative and confrontational in one, and then you see them in another one and they're quiet as a church mouse. Hello. That's why a lot of people will turn around and take their frustrations out on other people because they're the pawn somewhere else. So they try to be the queen around you, they try to be the king around you. Their whole persona is location based. And that is why speaking up for yourself is important. Not because you want drama, but because people will absolutely project whatever they're running from onto the person that doesn't give any pushback, onto the person that's not going to say anything, onto the person who's just going to let things slide. Now, here's the good news: confrontation does not have to be violent. I am absolutely not going out here and telling you to whoop somebody's ass. Now, what I will say is, if you need to, handle your business, okay? Sometimes you do gotta whoop somebody's ass. Maybe that's just me. I know fighting is not everybody's thing, but just sometimes you showing up and you showing that you got the balls. Sometimes that should go a little bit. That should go a long way. You showing people that you got a little heart, okay? You don't have to be aggressive though. You don't have to have the theatrics. You don't have to be dramatic. You don't have to have some bass in your voice, okay? And a roll and a snap in your neck. You don't need a fucking monologue either. Sometimes it is literally you just saying, no, I don't like that. Don't talk to me like that. I'm not comfortable with this. Sometimes it is quite literally as simple as speaking up for yourself. A short sentence, a clear message, in scene. That's it. That's all. A lot of the times you just need confidence in what you are saying. Because again, you can attempt to stand up for yourself, but like I said earlier, some people can definitely smell the fear on someone. So you have to be confident in what you're saying. I don't like that. I'm not going for that. Homie, don't play that. You understand? And the minute you say something, people adjust quickly. Suddenly they understand tone and boundaries and etiquette because silence gets misread all the time. People take your quietness as approval, agreement, tolerance. Meanwhile, you're at home replaying the whole scene with commentary in your head. You acting like East Red insecure. But when you speak up for yourself, the room shifts, the energy resets. People start checking themselves before they even approach you. They watch what the fuck they say around you because they know you're not going for that. And does it feel awkward at first? Absolutely. Absolutely. Your voice shakes, your stomach flip, your palms get sweaty. You rehearse your sentence 15 times in your head. But awkward does not mean wrong. It means new. You don't have to be dramatic. You don't have to be extra. You're not starting shit. You're not doing too much. You're simply setting a standard for how you expect to be treated. There's nothing wrong with that. And after Batterygate 2010, I made a promise to myself that if anybody ever tries to make me uneasy again, I will return the favor with precision or more, professionally, calmly, but boldly. I will give you whatever you're giving me because we're grown now and people know exactly how they treat others. They know what the hell they're doing. In the same way that I make sure that I go about every day treating people with respect and treating people how they want to be treated. I don't really like the whole treat people how you want to be treated cuz you could want to be treated like a piece of shit. No, treat me how I want to be treated. Okay? Actually, another quick little thing that I'm thinking about right now. I remember in college there was a girl that I met, and I use the word bitch all the time. Bitch this, bitch that, bitch this. And I remember I said it around her, and I was like, "Bitch, leave me alone," or just playing, being funny. And I remember her looking me straight in my face, and she said, "Don't call me a bitch." Okay. I absolutely respected her for standing up for herself. Like I said, it doesn't have to, you don't got to whoop nobody's ass. It doesn't have to be confrontational. It doesn't have to be aggressive. She just looked me straight dead in my face and said, "Do not call me a bitch. I do not like that. That's disrespectful to me." And I absolutely understood. Period. Stand up for yourself. The best thing that you can do is stand up for yourself. I'm not telling you no lies because at the end of the day, nobody else is going to stand up for you the way you do. So let's get into our last segment. No tears, just truth. Like I said before, confrontation does not mean you're about to recreate my battery girl incident. Okay. I'm not saying that you have to get in a fight. You don't have to swing on anybody. You don't got to square up, boo, because I know that that's not everybody's nature. All right. Everybody is not about to throw them bowls. And a lot of times your bully don't got no hand neither. They just got some mouth and they're gonna pick on the person that they least expect to respond. Most of the time you need confidence and you need a clear sentence. That's all confrontation really is. You taking the thoughts out of your head and putting them in the air, putting them in the atmosphere. Simply adult effective. Just putting it out in the air, putting your feelings, putting whatever it is you have to say out in the air. That's it. That is all. People act like speaking up for themselves is some dramatic performance when literally all it is saying, "Yeah, not going for that. You're not gonna talk to me like that. Don't call me a bitch." It's very fucking simple. Boom. Nobody died. And even though, again, it wasn't malicious, I wasn't disrespecting her on purpose. But the fact of the matter was, she felt disrespected. She didn't like it and she spoke up for herself. That's it. It wasn't an argument, it wasn't a fight. I respected her. Like I said before, being direct is freeing, like truly spiritually freeing. You feel 10 pounds lighter the moment you stop letting people slippity slide all over your boundaries just because you don't want to make it weird. And you know what's actually weird? Walking around annoyed for 3 days because you didn't correct something that could have took 5 seconds. You didn't correct whomever made you feel away. Now you mad. Now you sitting with that shit on your spirit and you could have nipped that shit in the bud. And here's the joke of it all. Most of the times when you do say something, people act brand new. Like, oh, look at her. Mm. Like, ooh, she got a little feisty. People try to be funny now that you spoke up for yourself. Oh, she talking now. Yes, boo, I talk. Yes, I stand up for myself. And today I'm talking to you. The freedom comes from realizing that you don't have to explode. You just have to express. You don't need volume, just vocabulary. You don't need a fight, just a sentence. All you need to do is put the words out there. And once you start doing that, life gets hilarious in the best way because you suddenly see how many problems could have been avoided if you had just opened your mouth 2 years ago. If you had just spoke up to your friend who was being shady, you start to realize, like, damn, I could have stopped all this a long time ago. You stop replaying conversations in the shower. You stop letting stuff pile up like laundry. You say it, it's said, and you move on. You don't have all the emotional clutter and resentment towards yourself and other people because you're speaking up for yourself. And the best part is people absolutely treat you differently when you're willing to speak up for yourself. Not because you're scary, but because you're clear. Clarity will humble people quicker than any argument. So, no, you do not have to throw hands to be confrontational. You don't have to win a fight. You don't have to have a dusty bang out like 18-year-old me. But you do have to say something. Because, like my OG told me, closed mouths don't get fed. And they definitely don't get respected either. Standing up for yourself feels good, like really good. It is the adult version of unclipping your bra after a long day. Instant relief, instant exhale, instant freedom. Start standing up for yourself. Start making other people uncomfortable when they make you uncomfortable. I promise it'll be the best thing that you've ever done for yourself. This has been another episode of Everything is Onions. I'm your favorite host with the most, Coco. And remember, speak up before you black out. We're grown now. If this episode hit home for you and you're a quiet girly or a timid guy and you just need a little battery in your back or you just needed a little pep talk, like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the next episode. Love you guys. Bye.